matches have been incredibly close so far in this tech solo bracket. I mean, it's hard to see how we could go any further than quadruple finalist in our remaining matches, but frankly, if we have the players that we do, I could see it happening. I could see these matches somehow being even closer than maybe quadruple finalist with some actual good rounds to close out quadruple finalist is the way we go from here, Formal.
Yeah, I mean, again, we called it the most anticlimactic quadruple final before, and you know what? I'm glad we got that out of the way. There's always one. Yeah. There's always one that kind of disappoints. That means only bangers from now to the end, and how can it not be? I think everybody in this top 8 has been getting within 3-4 tenths of world record consistently, meaning that I just foresee all these rounds right now moving forwards as everyone winning, everyone up there competing, no more people hoping for mistakes. It's just full send till the end.
Yeah, I mean, Boney, just looking at it, the 4 players that we are heading in to watch in this lower bracket final coming from very different matches, it feels like. While the match that you were watching first on stream was very close the whole way through, Pac and Epos kind of had their way with their match until the very end, where it ended up in quadruple finalist, and then they closed it out pretty easily, frankly, from that quadruple finalist position. Do you think that's going to affect either of the players? Do you think there's an advantage going either way for either set of players coming through the lower bracket?
No, not necessarily. I in that regard, both players are very much individualistic in that regard. Where, yeah, sure, things are happening. You know, the tournament goes on, matches are being played, but at the end of the day, they're very good at internalizing their own performance. And I honestly don't think that, despite it being quad finalists, that really crossed their minds too much. And I don't think it'll have an effect now either.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'm hoping for a great match. G-Geek, obviously 2 players will advance in this lower bracket into the consolidation final. 2 of them will be eliminated. I gotta ask, just looking at the upper bracket as it stands, 2 German players, Ratchet and Azox, Vortax still there flying the French flag, and Loso for Slovakia as well. I'm just gonna ask G-Geek, which 2 players do you think are dropping out of the lower bracket, or out of the upper bracket, to face our lower bracket players in the consolidation final?
Out of upper and into lower, I would say Ratchet and Loso. Just looking at the dynamics from the previous matches, Azox looking absolutely on a wire, if you judge by the previous semi-final match that we've seen, and Loso also looking pretty sharp. Both of them coming from the same match, as a matter of fact, and having driven really, really strong rounds. So I reckon Vortex and Ratchet are going to have a pretty tough time and might have to fight their way back in the cons final afterwards.
Okay, going to be super fun to watch that one and see how it does shake out as well. But we are going to be sticking with the lower bracket from here on out. It's eliminations or nothing for us on the main stream. We needed to feel alive. I gotta ask them. We gotta move on to predictions. We gotta see who we think is going to be eliminated in this match. Boney, you're shaking your head the most aggressively at me, and that means I'm coming to you first of all to ask the question, who do you think is being eliminated from this lower bracket?
I'm gonna be brutal here. I'm gonna be brutal. No more Great Britain. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Psychos and Barbos moving out. That is my prediction right now. You take it for what it is. Take it for what it is.
Sure, Formal, you sound very excited by that. Similar thoughts?
I do. I mean, it's a great prediction. I love it. Unfortunately, okay. I think Pac is playing a bit too well right now. So I'm actually going Barbos and Pac to get through. But if Zykos makes it happen, thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I will point out that both of you therefore are predicting 3 Germans in our top 6, which could well happen. The Germans have been looking absolutely incredible. But hey, I mean, you know, Boney, you're looking to say like, oh, GB suck, hey, get GB out of here. The second place team on the overall leaderboard would have 3 players in the top 6 of this event then. Is that what you want, Boney?
I mean, it is what it is.
Is that what you want? It is what it is. All right, G-Geek, who's your prediction for the 2 players getting eliminated in this lower bracket?
First of all, Boney, why didn't you just say that earlier when we were spectating the other match? Come on, man. Do some solidarity with the rest of the continent, for God's sake. And as for my prediction, I would say those who get eliminated, I would have to give it to Zykos and to Epos. I mean, it's only judging from the last few rounds we've seen, but Epos's final set of the match looked a bit shaky at times. So I'm thinking I'm going to give him on the wrong side of the fence, but I'd be happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am just a little bit nervous, frankly, for those two GB drivers in finalist situations, right? They got to finalists pretty cleanly in front of Shark Eric and Maui in that last match, and it was it required, frankly, for Pac to get through 3 DNFs in the lobby, and Epos needed 2 full crashes from both of the other drivers in order to make it through. These are players who shouldn't have these struggles. That's part of why we're, you know, we can joke about it. These are players who have performed under pressure before, but, I mean, hey, in what is now a lower bracket final, you got to clean up the performance a little bit. You got to be able to take your chances when they come, because I don't know that you're going to get a lot of runway heading into finalist mode yourself. You got to take your chances when they come. With that said, Formal, for once, I'm going to give you a prediction heading into this match. I do think Pac and Barbos going through. I have to agree with you.
Wow. I'm glad that your first prediction here is in agreement with Geek and I. Like that's brave.
But that's actually a unique event.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I think that he's taking the safe option.
I think one of the things that we saw, I do think Epos has put more time into the tech tracks this week than he had coming in last weekend. I think he'd put in just enough to survive weekend 1 going into the tech solo, and I think this time around Epos, he could surprise some people going deeper into this tech tournament here. I think already top 8 is a great performance for Epos in this tech tournament, but I'm not going to be shocked. You said you weren't going to be shocked or upset if Zycos made it further Formal. I wouldn't be shocked or upset if Epos made it further in this one. With that, I do believe we are potentially, we had all the players in lobby. We've since lost one of the players out of lobby. I think we're back to all players in lobby, potentially. So what we're going to do is hope that that's the case. And we're going to, listen, don't question it. Don't question it. We're going to send it over to the casters. This match should hopefully be getting underway soon. Tech solo losers bracket. I lose the run of myself at the end of these. Have you noticed that? It's kind of a problem. Yeah, anyway, let's go to casters.
All right, get out of here.
About time.
Get him out.
I didn't want to say anything. I don't want to look like a bad guy, you know. But yeah,
get him out. Look,
Thanks,
I got the mustache. I got the shades. I got the D-bag look. I'll be the bad guy.
I mean, it's a good cop backup, right? You've got the shades and everything. It's perfect bad cop. Honestly, no doubt about it. But unfortunately, we got lost. You know, we keep the Nua down there somewhere. We don't deal with him right now. And now we get to deal with the big boys playing. We get to see how these absolute titans. I mean, it's the fact that this is lower finals says a lot about the level of competition that we have seen thus far and how much close things can be. We've already seen one match with 3 players very close to one another, another match with 4 players very close together, and now we're seeing that combination. We're seeing fireworks, hopefully, erupt from here, as it does look like we have our players ready. I did notice Spammy mentioning something about a minus 20 points. Don't think he is actually a judge or any type of arbiter in this, so we're gonna have to let that one slide. No,
let it move along. But I think, again, we're at obviously top 8. Things are kind of crazy. So the lower bracket final, if you go back to the tech team, all of these drivers were there as well. So it's like their expectation will be finals again. Granted, that tech team final didn't really go so well for the British team. And I think Pac and Epos are going to have a bit more to prove in that regards. But seeing Barbos down here to me is still the biggest surprise, because I would argue he was the MVP of the tech team finals and looked the most consistent then. Obviously, that was a week ago. Things have changed. Maybe you're not feeling as strong today, but the fact that we have Barbos down here, I think should be putting the other 3 drivers on note. We are, I think, about to jump into it. Again, we have another look at the names. It's so hard to pick, though, somebody to be eliminated here. Like, all 4 of these drivers, if they start to peak, should be getting through.
Look, one thing I can guarantee, at least one player whose name ends in OS is going to be eliminated from this match. No truer words have ever been spoken in this. Cycles, Barbos, Epos, Pac. I mean, you got it.
One's getting through, too.
Yeah, I mean, Pacos, we'll call him Pacos for just for this match only, just to make sure that it actually does work. That's a pretty good day. So Pacos right now will be dueling out in 3rd place. Barbos off to the races, though. Beautiful start on his end with Psychos trailing behind. And as you were mentioning before, I mean, Barbos came in clutch during team, and has really come down to his run in the upper bracket while he wasn't finalist, unable to close things out. Ratchet able to get those snipes in, sending him down into losers. It's really the only reason we find him here. And right now, we do see how strong of a player is as we make our way towards the finish. Barbo's into it, but Cycles, he does get in barely, though Pack does get the 6 pointers for his favor. That was a bit of a tight one for the Dutch player there, but Barbo's looking untouchable on that round.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of saw this a little bit in what we saw before with Zykos, where they really push the ending. They try to go for those risky finishes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But Pacos, a bit more conservative at the end right there, and is going to get themselves through. I want this lower bracket semifinal to turn into everybody chasing down Barbos. Like, I am hoping things do get a bit more competitive, but common, knowledge states, yeah, it should be Barbos out in the front. It should be Barbos kind of leading that charge. Zykos is another one, though, who I think had a little bit of a disappointing performance when we go back to the tech team finals. Again, the team finished third, but if you go back to how those heats were running out, it really was like the France and Germany 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. Like they were consistently in those top 6 when Zykos should have been up there, like messing around, messing them up a bit. And that really wasn't the case. So I do want to see Zykos be a bit more competitive. Right now we're seeing him in P4, which is kind of unfortunate, and we are seeing Barbos again out in front. Shock awe, it is a little bit closer this time, and it will come down to the angles at the end. Pac had the speed, and Pac gets the snipe. Pac takes round 2.
There you go. Paco's picking home the 10 pointers as it is a tied first place right now. Only 2 rounds in, though, so not a lot to be said just yet, but 16 points Barbo, 16 points back. There's exchanging these first and second places at the moment with Cycles and Epos a bit down in the dumps. So, I mean, mentioning Epos with that, 2 last places 2 times in a row. I mean, it's only 2 rounds, but it's not the type of start one has to be looking out for. It is what it is, right? Well, at the end of the day, you just got to keep going. You got to keep driving, and not let that creep into your head. As right now, he is finding himself relatively side by side with Pac. Though Pac gets a little bit more speed out of that turn there, will allow himself to take the battle once again to Barbos. Barbos, who is doing a beautiful stuff here as well. It is still Epos trailing behind, even though look at how close each and every one of these players are, and that trip not going his way. That is going to be another 4th place. 3 rounds, 3 4th places, not what you want to be looking for. Barbo is currently on a warpath, wanting to get those 10 points. We have seen he take this middle line with Cycles this time around, going a bit wider, wanting to get more exit speed. Pac goes a bit closer as well. But what is the speed? What is this slide? Pac will nab it away. 300ths of a second separating him and Barbos, and Cycles also just a little bit behind, 400ths of a second away from first place. What a fight for first, but Pac once again getting the 10 pointers in his favor.
Pacos on a tear. I'm going to open this round by saying something maybe a little bit controversial, like building off what you were at before. Yeah, the 4th places are bad for Epos. I feel a 4th place is not as bad as not winning. And what I mean by that is when you look at the point differential, 4th to 2nd, 3 points. 2nd to 1st, 4 points. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it's all tight. It's all interchangeable. You can come back from that if you can start winning some rounds. And that's what, Epos, he can turn it on. If he finds a way up through the crowd right here, if he can get in front of like Barbos, who has been looking very, very strong, and Zykos, who has also been looking strong. I mean, we've already seen, Pacos, he's back, he's out. We don't care about him. It does look like, though, this is going to be another Barbos round right now, unless we get some speed from the other drivers at the end. And admittedly, Barbos has been a little bit slower on these last couple turns. We'll see if that's going to be the case again, because Epos needs this round win. Epos has the speed, but is too far back to the finish. Barbos goes P1, Epos P2, and Zykos has to go safe finish, giving up his position to Pacos, who will take 3rd.
Yeah, and with that, little bit of an overtake, right? 32 points for Barbos, 30 points for a Pac, 15 each, Epos and Zykos. Still a lot to be played for, but after that first round, it is starting to become a little bit of a 2-way fight, where in our previous match where we were watching along, Zykos battling out with Barbos and Feet at the same time, constantly back and forth on who gets first, who gets second, who gets third throughout it all. Barbos looks to have waken up again. Maybe he was knocked down a little bit dazed, being brought down to the lower bracket due to his countryman Ratchet, but now able to take the fight, and with Tack also willing to put up his dukes as well. It's seeming like Zycos and Epos are right now unable to really get into it as much as they would like.
Yeah, but we'll see when we switch maps, right? Because again, with these tech maps, confidence being such a big part, sometimes the map refresh, all you need to get your head right back in and to get yourself competitive again. At least, you know, that's what Epos is probably telling himself right now. Whether or not that's going to be true, we'll see what we get into this one. We are live one more time. And look, Pony, I don't know about you, but this one, Magneton, has to be, I think, out of the 3 tech maps, this has been the cinema map. This has been the one with the most dramatic endings. I agree or disagree? Yeah, you agree. Good.
I do. Yes.
So we'll see. We'll see if we get that cinema. Epos definitely did not have the mental reset, though. Was kind of hoping for. He's out of the first round. It's going to be Barbos, Pack, and Zycos, and the 3 of them all under a 1/10 of a second apart, and they're going to stay that pace, moving forwards through the gap. Zycos had a bit more speed, but it was only a fraction, not enough to make a significant difference. We are nearly tied coming into the last couple checkpoints. I promise, cinema, here it comes. Barbos is starting to fade back. Pack is going very wide, stays very tight. He has the speed. He might have the round. Barbos, though, for the snipe, not going to get it, and Pac takes the round.
It is always that turn, that dang turn keeps coming up for, well, every player, honestly. There has not been a single player who hasn't been safe from disaster going into that time around. Zycos falling behind. Pack was able to keep the pace, keep the speed just a little bit higher going up that half pipe. And it's really that half pipe as well, right? A lot of speed is lost going up that. We even have seen players miss out on a finish because of the speed not being there anymore, because of the transition right before. And it is quite the tight transition. There's not a lot of space, not a lot of room for these players to maneuver their way through, and it just gives us these absolute cinema moments for our troubles. But off we are on our second round. Epos this time around is deciding to play ball. Barbos looking to get in between, losing a little bit of time, looking to like a bit of a release on his end, allowing Pack to get back into the full pick and the swing of the things. And it's our bottom 2 players, Zycos and Epos, currently duking it out for first place. Once again, making our way through the drift. No flips happening except for Zycos right there at the end. It is going to be Epos going and Tacos on second, and Barbos on third place. And Zycos, once again, second round in a row where he's in a very good spot to make some points happen, and second time missing out.
Yeah, you don't want to make the same mistake on the same part of the track twice in a row. I'm a little bit worried for Zycos, but for Epos, right back in it, right back in the mix of it. Yeah, they're still, you know, a few points down, but if they can go back to back right now, again, it just shows the strength of the wins. Now, somebody had a bit of a roughie. That was Pac. So Pacos, goodbye. Yeah, we don't care about you this time. And which is a bit unfortunate because he's probably going to be losing his lead now in the overall standings. We'll be a bit grumpy with that. But for the other 3 drivers, again, this is what we're expecting when we get to that top 8. Everybody within 0.05 of a second, like with each other. Everybody just taking slightly different lines, but pushing it as hard as they can. Zycos goes a little bit wide. Guess what? They're out of the running unless something crazy happens at the end. Barbos is the one who, for the second time in a row, is actually going to lose a bit of speed on the uphill. Epos has the better line. Epos wants to get right back in the mix if they can keep it going. Now, last time in these last turns, they went very wide and held a lot of speed, and they're looking to do it again. Look how tight through the corners. Goodbye, another bonk, but it's Barbos versus Epos, and Barbos 0.004 of a second barely holds him back.
Yeah, once again to the line, and it's a little bit of speed making the, looking to make the difference. Unfortunately, the distance was just a little bit too large for that for Epos to try and get into it. So yeah, Barbos with that just doing good, eating good, making way towards that halfway mark, really playing up to 120 points, 52 points for Barbos, 50 points for Pack, 34 points for Epos, only 25 for Zycos. But honestly, Zycos, if not for those again, third time in a row that turn does not go well for him. And he's got to be in his head about that, right? You gotta focus in. That's the thing, because the rest of the track seemingly okay. This round, finding himself in 4th place, is still relatively close to the fire, trying to stay close, keep touch with the rest of the players. As Epos does have the lead, he needs to get some points in, because the gap between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right now, it's really 2nd and 3rd. Those are the major gaps, and both Epos and Zycos are right now unable to really make that gap work, make that work happen. But are they going to get in between? Pacos has the lead going up it is going to be Cycles with a second place, Barbos on a third, Epos on fourth place, but this doesn't really do a lot to swing the pendulum. We
No.
still have first and second very close to one another, and Epos and Cycles kind of struggling in the dumps.
I just feel like it's a bit unfortunate for Cycles right there because you finally get the clean finish, and it's the one time you wouldn't have won the round. All the other times Cycles was up there to take it, and then they finally nail it. Yeah, second place. Sorry, buddy. That leader, they're moving further ahead. I like what I saw from Epos, though. I know Epos is still down, and it's a large way to go, but Epos was leading a lot of those rounds, and it felt like the confidence was starting to come back there. So, yeah, we're far from over here, Boney. Like, this is, I think, a couple bad rounds for, either Barbos or KDOS or I don't know, Oss, man, who has no Oss in his name. Then all of a sudden, yeah, he has no Oss, all right?
No.
The Oss is holding him back.
Ooh, could be. Theory. I like it. We're gonna have to have our researchers go into that, figure out whether or not this does have an impact on play style or perhaps max speed for that matter. But I think we're gonna have to leave that one, like I said, to those researchers, those scientists. All I know is pure speed, pure drifting, and getting as close to those corners without actually touching them. And that's exactly what our players are about to put on the line. Here we are once again. Our players battling it out. Cycles currently in fourth place, not looking to really contend for those 10 points once again, but a crash out there from Epos will mean that another one of our OS players has been going down. Operating systems not operating as well as you would like it. It's a fight between Pack and Barbos. Tell me another story similar to this. I feel like this is what, the 7th sequel at this point. I think Pack has been resurrected twice, and Barbos think he already dropped him off the volcano. This is Tekken. This is Tekken story for those who know, they know. As Cycles misses the risky fit, it was only 4 points. Nope, sorry. How about 3 points? No, he DNFs. He actually just DNFs. I think he is completely in his head right now.
Yeah, Cycles looking kind of cooked, but hats off to Pacos and Barbos that last round. They were never more than 0.05 of a second apart that entire round.
Oh, yeah.
That is actually insane, and I want to see that continue. Of course, this time doesn't look to be the case. Pac had a little bit more of a lead seat. Yep, 0.51. Broke the chain. That's okay, though. We're back to going wheel to wheel, which is what we are hoping for. Epos and Cycles, they just have to chase right now. They're just watching, and, well, there goes Pac. So Barbos now it's going to pull ahead. I feel it's a bit not disorienting, but like disheartening when you just see Barbos and Pac just putting 4 round after round. No, like how do you mentally come back when you see these guys just looking infallible? Yeah,
it's a struggle. It's really just that, especially with the previous matches going for both players in that regard, right? Epos and Cycles are just dealing with the fact that Pac and Barbos are up ahead, even though, I mean, Cycles won his previous match, and Epos came in second place in that one, but it's even then, performance was beautiful, was doing phenomenal, and you go from one match doing a great job, 10 minutes later, and it's just not working. Nothing is clicking. Nothing is really going your way, and it makes sense that, I mean, we saw with Cycles with his DNF, he had no need to DNF, but yeah, at some point you're just tilted, and another crash happening right there. It's it's very much a matter of he's not losing the race to others, he's losing the race to himself.
Yeah, it's quicksand. It's the quicksand analogy where, like, the more you struggle, the deeper you sink. And unfortunately for Cycles, they are very close to going completely under right now, which is obviously not what the Netherlands want to see. But how about this British battle up front? Pac and Epos, they were looking pretty good. Pac, a little bit of a wider line. Barbos holds it super tight, and that off-camber uphill normally makes or breaks your finish. And, well, it broke Barbos this time around. Pacos should have the P1. And, again, every time Barbos is getting close to the standings right now, Pac just wins around and pulls further ahead again.
Yeah. At no point is Barbos given any leads of sorts, and I think this is the biggest gap we have seen between these two players, even though the gap isn't really that large. We're talking 7 points here, but 7 points can make all the difference in the world. But Barbo's still not in a lot of danger. Epos Psychos behind by, what is that, 23 points, and I mean, I'm not even going to count. That's doubling. Yeah, that's doubling. That's 38.
Yeah. Math is hard. Math is hard. I don't blame you. I don't want to count either. Just when it's red, it means final. When it's green, they qualified. Until then, I don't care. It doesn't matter. The only point that matters is the last one.
Very, very true. And that's the thing. Even if somehow, I mean, if Zycos, stays in fourth place, and crashes like that, that is something that will be the case. If everyone is in finalist and he gets first place after first place it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, exactly. Right? Obviously, this is some hopium up to the max at that point. After that is a wicked safe fin for Cycles right there. I'm not sure if you needed to do that.
So did I hear Goldfinger? Do I hear some Tony Hawk music happening right there? That was sick right there. But yeah, big win at the end for Epos to get one on there. But you're absolutely right. I don't know. I feel like we're playing, Swamps in Magic the Gathering right now where, life total doesn't matter. It's all about that last life. That's how you stay alive. And that, it's total copium. It's total copium, but that's what you got to need if you're those drivers who are behind right now. Get your mental back in it. And it does feel like, again, Epos, I'm seeing signs of life from him, but I don't know, man. Pac and Barbos, they are looking so scary. Pac in particular, he is hitting that level that we missed in the tech team finals, but we're seeing it here in the lower bracket semifinal. If he can continue that run, well, that's another conversation. But yeah, I just feel if you're trying to chase those two, it's going to be difficult. And Epos has a tough road ahead. Zykos, I think he's cooked, man. I don't know. I don't see how you come back from that.
Yeah, in that sense, they both Epos and Cycles, they need to change the mentality in the sense of, yes, you're mid lobby with Pac and Barbos, and yes, they're doing a great job. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's looking at that. But instead of, if they do think about like, oh, I am chasing down these players, they shouldn't be thinking about chasing down these players. It's more like, let me set the stage. Let me set the mood. Be confident in that regard. Make sure that confidence is there. Because if there is anything that is important with the whole consistency behind tech and behind all the other types of play, it's confidence. If you're not confident in what you're doing, you may as well sit down. You may as well take it easy as we are off for another round here on Chiaroscuro. And maybe this is the confident Cycles we're looking for.
Yeah, Zykos right now mixing it up, and this is, if you go back to the start, Zykos was pretty fast on these rounds, and this was one of the ones where Barbos didn't really have the strongest endings. Pac, though, looked very strong through these last couple corners, so Pac with the lead right now, unless he makes a mistake, should be able to hold it to the end. Barbos and Zykos goes really, really wide. That's a lot of speed. Yeah, isn't able to maintain it. It's going to come down to the end. Pac a bit more inside. Barbos, nearly got the snipe. Not to be the case. Pac gets another 10 points. Pac gets ever closer and builds more of that gap.
Yeah, Paco's building the OS in this one with the 10 pointers every single time. You may just read it as O for that, and then it's honestly good eating for him. Almost at the triple-digit mark, just 3 points away, which means any finish for him will do. But we're not playing for 100. We're playing for 120 points, and right now, Pac looking phenomenal for that. Barbos in 88, though, has been unable to stay as close to Pac as he maybe would have liked. But, 22 points between him and Epos, all things considered. A lot of mathing, but Pac and Barbos in a good spot, regardless of those points. Still, though, Epos is fighting hard. Cycles is still fighting hard. It doesn't feel right now on this map that this is a fight for first and second. This is still very much a fight for everyone, but it comes down to these final few turns. We see that happen time and time again. Barbos right now fighting it out with Epos. Pac unable to match the speed. Will get in for that drift. Barbos with a bit more of a midline will allow Epos to have a bit more speed. Is it enough speed though? He is fighting. He's going for it. Jumps a bit higher.
I think he got him.
He makes it past him. Barbos actually didn't. He saw it so close. Look at Barbos just from first to third, fourth. I saw three, so I thought third, but that's 3 points.
Yeah,
dang, it's even worse.
So we were talking about the math before too. I think an easy way to keep track of things. So 10 points for first place, right? So you're thinking, 10 points, that's one round. It's actually 7, assuming you finish and don't pull a DNF. So it's every 7 points is how many rounds behind you are exactly. Meaning Pac right now, nearly 2 rounds ahead. Nearly in a great spot to just give themselves that cushion to make sure they secure. And then if you go back to EPOS, it's even more so, because let's be honest, winning doesn't matter. We're still in survival. That was an uncharacteristic mistake from Barbos. That 4th place, I think, gives EPOS hope. And with EPOS leading the charge right now, Boney, this could be that swing of momentum that brings the British driver right back in it.
Yeah, a lot of room to be taken here. And Cycles now with a touch right there. Great Britain being on top of the world right now. Pack and EPOS both loving some points, but EPOS just a little bit more than Pack, as we will make our way towards that final drift. EPOS last time around was able to get a lot of speed into this final turn. Pack matching his speed this time around with a bit of an awkward line towards the finish. Does make it work, make it happen, but unable to actually overtake EPOS there. So that's going to be 86 on the Mahi, or that's an 84 on the Mahi. Unfortunately, 86, just a little bit higher. We do have the Mahi. Yeah, the Mahi is in, and EPOS will be getting that onto his plate. Pack though, 109. Awkward number, right? Yes, I know we're now 1 point away from finalists, but we're 11 points away.
That's almost worse. Yeah. That's almost worse. But I think the big thing right now is that 13-point swing for EPOS catching up Barbos right now. That's pretty massive, and it's reflective in the score. Only 9 points between the pair. If EPOS finishes this round ahead of Barbos, they're going to be within 1 round of each other. And now all of a sudden the German might be feeling a bit of that pressure. If he is feeling it, not showing it, because he is out in front at the moment, leading a very tight pack, somehow staying ahead when it's within 500ths of a second, though. It's really not much of a lead. It's going to be a lunge at the finish. In fact, now it's flipping entirely around Pak, starting to build a little bit more of a gap, but Barbos still there, up into P2. EPOS dropping back. It's EPOS and Barbos, really the battle we should be watching, but if Barbos can get Pak between them, that's more of a point swing, and it's Barbos with the lead in the final turns. Goodbye, Zykos. Here comes Pak, though, looking for a snipe. Does he have it? Yes, he does, and that is a bit of a disaster for Barbos. Would have loved that point swing. Pak, though, 1 point away.
Yeah, and this really comes down to Barbos' play style there, because it's not a matter of him making mistakes per se. It's more a matter of him being a bit more conservative with each and every one of these drifts. I've already mentioned it before in the previous match. This match is doing similar things where that final drift, he likes to stay in the middle of the road, and that is fine. That is consistent. But what Pack did there, what EPOS did there, and even though EPOS was able to make that work in his favor, they go a bit wider. They set up the drift just a little bit earlier to get more exit speed to get out of it. And even though we're talking like, what, 4, 5, kilometers of speed, that is enough when the minor differences between these players, the distances are so minuscule. And that is where Barbos, we saw in the previous match, lose out on a couple of points. And here we see Pack also taking advantage of exactly that.
I do wonder, though, if put under pressure, if Barbos feels like, oh, hold on, I need to nail this or else I'm getting eliminated, if he doesn't have that line in his back pocket and he's taking the safety, because we've seen some mistakes at the ending and he knows we're not really in danger yet. I do wonder if it's in the back pocket, but I mean, if it is, maybe it's time to pull it out, because again, 11 points between Barbos and EPOS, like, yeah, that's 2 rounds, but that's still not a safe 2 rounds, man. You gotta want more at Zykos. You know what? I think we're just going to let Zykos do his thing. Pak, I mean, you finish, you're a finalist. This is the real battle right now. EPOS versus Barbos. These two, I feel like, are going to be fighting for that second spot.
Yeah, I mean, EPOS preferably wouldn't even want Barbos in here, because while he is looking for 10 points, right? He wants to make up the gap between him and Barbos. This is only a swing of 4 points. Obviously, you want your opponent to be even further behind. And you know when they crash out, that is exactly what's going to be the case. EPOS is going to get into 10 points, but how big is going to be the gap going to be? Nope, still going to be 4. Barbos, fortunately for him, Pack made the mistake of his side, was simply large enough for him to stay in, keep the 6 points in his favor. He will be on 107. EPOS now also on 100, where it was that fight for, like, okay, well, first and second seemingly decided. Now all of a sudden it's a lot closer.
No. We cannot have the double British advancing again, all right? We did it last time. It was a funny joke. Haha, meme. Britain gets through. But it can't be twice in a row, Bodie. This can't be happening twice in a row yet. Here we are. Pak with the lead. Zykos actually not crashing out this time, being competitive up there with the front. It's kind of up to Barbos right now to stop the British invasion.
Yeah, we'll see though if it's going to be enough. Look at the fight between the two side by
Oh
side,
my.
wheel to wheel. No collision of the sort between cars in this one. This ain't no weekly ground of sorts. And Cycles with the crash out does mean there's only one player left to stop Pack from cashing in the finalist. That is going to be Barbos. Last round, Barbos did have a little bit of a crash going into it. Let's see if this time around he's able to keep it clean. Yes, sir. Was the speed enough?
Pack's
Going
got
up?
him.
No, it's not. It's going to be Pack. What do you mean, Pack? What speed? Where did you gain all of that from? Doesn't really matter. It's going to be Paco's making his way through. And, well, I said it was at least one operating system dropping down, but it looks like it's going to be two, as we have 3 players remaining, and none of them on finalist.
Yeah, it's going to get spicy again. EPOS still 10 points down, but look, at this stage right now, Pac, congratulations, you've advanced. Zykos has been struggling. You get to steal his OS, so Pacos moving forward. And Zykos is now Zyke. That was the wager. It was determined ahead of time. Sorry, Zyke. That's where you're at right now, but you can win it back. Yeah, you can win it back tomorrow. Where it stands right now, Barbos would love to get that finalist point, and winning this round would be the best way to do so. It looks like they're going to be holding that off, and it keeps EPOS a couple rounds back. EPOS, though, trying to fight back right now. Uphill turn. Will EPOS be able to make that momentum? Not quite there. I'm feeling confident Barbos has this.
Yeah, coming out the cinematic turn of sorts. We'll see how the drift goes. No crashing happening in this time around. The speed is higher from EPOS, but there's simply not enough time for him to get to the finish. Barbos too far ahead, able to get finalists onto his name. EPOS on that awkward 109. 2 rounds at least for Barbos to cash in this finalist. We will have one more round here on Magneton to decide whether or not we even see life for EPOS or Zyke in this one, as we are off to the races once again. And there is a clip happening. That is Barbos dropping behind, but not too far. There is still some potential for those German fans out there. 0.3 of a second is possible, especially with the way the finish, those final few drifts do go. And we have seen Cyclos and EPOS having had some trouble.
Channel your inner Ratchet.
We'll see how it goes. This is it, right? The snipers are locked and loaded, ready. They see Barbos with the red numbers. All of a sudden, all systems are go. They are going as hard as they can throughout these turns and cycles. While he has been in the dumps, right? He has been tilted as much as he is. He's doing a phenomenal job of this round, bobbing and weaving through each and every one of these turns. This is basically Rocky at the last round. He is bloodied. He is beaten down.
Come on.
Does he make it work? He gets the 10 pointers, and if he has enough speed going up, and yes, he will. And actually, EPOS there with the 6-pointer as well, beating Barbos to the line. Obviously, for Barbos, didn't really matter too much, but enough in sense of, that's still EPOS getting closer and closer to getting into finalist.
Yeah, and that was, good to keep hopes alive. I'm glad Psychos got his win, but we're going back to Surfside now. And if you remember how Surfside was going, out of all the battles we had, that one was the most Barbos Pack favorite. That was like, they were clearing by a couple tenths. And now you have to beat the one remaining of them Barbos, not once, but twice. If you're, EPOS, and if you're Zykos, well, this was the map where I think your head exploded. So you probably don't even want to come back here at all. You want to delete this track, never think of it again. But we're going to force you to do it one more time. So yeah, it is a stretch to see EPOS if they can pull it off twice in a row against one of the best tech drivers in the world. If he can do it, hats off to you. You deserve that top 6.
I mean, if there is anyone to do it, EPOS probably would be one of those names I would dare throw into the hat, but it will take a lot of resilience and at the same time, just raw speed. Barbos is valuable when it comes to finalists. We'll see if he is able to keep his wits together on potentially the final round of this match. We are off. Barbos, Psychos, EPOS, which will make it through. We have our first crash coming out. It's not going to be Psychos. That is not the OS to be installing in. It's going to be EPOS to make his way through in second place right now. But second is elimination. Barbos leads by 1/10 of a second, keeps him away at each and every one of these turns. Great Britain has one player in, and with this, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that second one in as long as Barbos stays ahead of his competitor. Second time on finalist, and it is everything. It's doing everything. Final, it's going to come down to the risky fin. Barbos was being a bit risky with this in previous rounds, but no. Very very demure, very mindful. I'm not sure if he realized he was in a race at that point in time, but
Yeah.
Barbo's doing what he needed to do. Gets it in.
That line Epos took on the off-camber uphill, I don't think I've seen anyone hit it that hard or that close yet. Like, Epos gave it his all in those final corners. I would love to see like the individual sort of checkpoint times for that and compare that with like the world records and see how close it was, because he was flying those past couple corners, but too much of a gap, couldn't bring it despite how close it was. Hats off to Epos, but at the end of the day, yeah, the two favorites do get through, which isn't too much of a surprise.
No, I mean, it's one of those things, a bit painful, but at the same time, we are so close to finishing things up. 6 players remain in the solo portion of it all, and with that, only 2 matches remain. I'm very curious to hear and see how our fellow panelists felt about this situation, about the action that has just unfolded. I mean, at the same time, I don't want to bring him back, though. I guess, hey, Nua, what did you?
Well, no, we're here. I'm Boney.
No,
Boney, I
ask
have a
Geek
question
then. No,
for
Geek,
you.
okay, that's nice. Geek,
Boney,
Geek, what do you think?
Boney, wait. I have a question for Boney. Boney,
Yes.
what's the Pirates' favorite operating system?
I couldn't tell you. Tell me.
Barbosa. It's a good one. It's a good one. Hey, that was a great match. That was super exciting. Really enjoyed that the entire way through. G-Geek, what happened in the upper bracket? You know, we had some predictions about who was going to be dropping down into the lower bracket. Well, who is dropping down to the lower bracket?
Well, those who dropped down to the lower bracket, we kind of went as we expected, and those who dropped down are Vortex and Ratchet. And whereas the match that we've seen here had some spice to it, the other match, the spice came in a little bit late, because we had Loso at one point who just clean swept Magneton, which was the second map in the rotation, and went actually on for a 5-round win streak to actually pull a little bit of a gap early on in the game before getting caught back up by Azox. But eventually, after being denied 3 times in finalist status, Loso got the win on the second rotation of Magneton. And then soon after, on the first round of the second rotation of Surfside, it was Azox's turn to punch his way into the grand final.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have our answer. We have 3 Germans in the top 6 confirmed. Barbo's sneaking on through this lower bracket. 50% of the remaining players, one of them already in that grand finals. Azox up there. Loso, I do think, looking currently like the favorite to take down this tech solo tournament, but we have 4 very strong players in the lower bracket as well. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back with the consolidation final for this tech solo tournament, figuring out which 2 players will join Azox and Loso in the grand finals. If Barbos can reunite with his twin brother in that grand final as well, would be exciting to see. Maybe not if you want anyone except Germany to win, though. See you soon. We're going to take this quick break, and we will be back with the tech solo action.